Welcome back to Midweek. I want to talk about anxiety. Anxiety, it's in my brain like that. But I want to talk about this topic today. And let me start off by saying I know that mental health and anxiety and depression is a big, deep concept. And so we're just going to scratch the surface today. But I think the word gives us some keys to how we can overcome it. And I want to touch on that today. And, I did a quick Google and it said 1 in 5 adults are currently experiencing some kind of anxiety, and 31% throughout their lifetime will experience anxiety. To me, those are huge numbers. 1 in 5 adults. That is crazy to me. Why are we so anxious all the time? Why are we so stressed out? And obviously, this is not God's best for us. This is not how he wants us to live, So let's go to the word. So Matthew 6 says this. Matthew 6:34. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow, for tomorrow will be anxious for itself. Sufficient for the day is its own trouble. And then if you go back to Matthew 6:25, therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothing? And then it goes on to talk about the lilies and the birds of the air and how God takes care of them. And then it says, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So why are we stressed out? I was just talking to my sister about this week. We're stressed out because we live too much in the future in our heads. Anxiety is never for the present. It's always for the future, and it's always bad outcomes that usually don't even happen. And so what we do is we think forward. I'll give you a very simple example. My daughter is starting school in 2 weeks, and we all know what happens when kids start school, right? They go to school, they get sick. So already I've had the thought, oh, great. She's going to go to school. She's going to get sick. She's going to come home. My baby's going to get sick. My husband's going to get sick. He might not be able to work. I'm going to get sick. How am I going to take care of the babies if I'm sick? Right? Now I've had that thought, but luckily I've been able to take that thought captive and say, okay, Lord, even if that happens, you're going to carry me through it. I'm not going to dwell on that. I'm not going to ruminate on that. But what would cause anxiety if I started ruminating on it? Oh my gosh, how am I going to get through it? What's going to happen? What am I going to do? How am I going to solve that? What if we all get sick? Oh, it's going to be terrible. This is what we do constantly. We think forward into the future, which it's not bad to think forward necessarily, but then we start living there in our fears, and that's what causes anxiety, right? And so the Lord wouldn't bring this up, Jesus talking in Matthew 6, unless it was a problem. I'm sure it was a problem then, and it's a problem now. Therefore, do not be anxious about tomorrow. And then if you go backwards, but seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness. So how are we not anxious? How do we combat anxiety? We live in today. When the Israelites were in the desert, the Lord was feeding them manna from heaven, but he would only give them enough for each day. Isn't that interesting? You would think it would be more efficient to give them okay, I'm going to give you a month's worth, or I'm going to give you 2 months worth or a year's worth of food to sustain you. I don't have to drop it down every day. But there's a point there, and that is this. We need to rely on the Lord for our daily supply, our daily presence, our daily sustenance. He will carry us through each day. We're not meant to live in the days way ahead. That's when stress happens. That's when anxiety happens. And he's saying, nope, I supplied everything you need today. You know what, Leah? Even if your kids do get sick, I'm going to walk you through it. You'll be fine. I will supply what you need on that day. And today I'm supplying what you need today. Anxiety, you're probably going to say duh at this, but I looked up the definition just to reaffirm it in my head, but it's always a future facing thing. You're not anxious about today because you're living in today. You're walking through it and you're getting through it. What we do though is it's always future thinking. So we're looking to the future and we're thinking all of our worst fears and we're confirming them in our heads, and half the time they don't even happen, and that causes anxiety in us. So how do we break this cycle? Seek first the kingdom and his righteousness, and he will take care of you and he will provide for you. Don't look too far forward. It doesn't mean don't plan, but it says man plans and God ordains his steps, right? So just remember that you can make plans, but we don't want to get so stuck in the future and our possibilities and what's going to happen. What's going to happen with this decision? Are we going to have the finances for that? What's going to happen when we have a second child? Is my first child going to get lonely and despise us because we don't spend as much time with her? What's going to happen when we move over here? Are we going to find friends? Are we going to find community? What's going to happen when I start this new job? What if they hate me? What if I don't measure up to the position, right? We do that all the time, and we ruminate on all the negative possibilities, and we put ourselves too far into the future and these possibilities that haven't even happened yet, instead of saying, you know what, Lord, I'm going to take a breath and I'm going to remember that you have given me everything I need today. I can rely on you you will sustain me. You have always sustained me through every day. And so I'm not going to jump too far forward in my head and live in negative possibilities, but I'm going to ground myself in your presence. I'm going to seek first your kingdom and your righteousness. And I believe that this will start to break anxiety off of us. The enemy wants to trick us to have us go, you need to figure all this out now. You need to control. Do this, do that. You need to figure it out right now. You need to figure out every possibility. But we can't figure it out, and we're not meant to. The Lord is meant to carry us through it. And so that's what causes anxiety, us controlling it, trying to live in the future, trying to take it back. And the enemy is just tricking us in our own heads. So today I want you to practice taking that back and saying, you know what? No, I take this back from you, enemy. I'm not going to ruminate on every negative possibility. The Lord will carry me through. He's always been faithful. He will be faithful in the future. He is faithful today. His presence is with me today, and it is carrying me through, and it is guiding me through, and you will have more peace today, and anxiety will start to be broken off of your life. I know this is just such a small touch into this, but I just wanted to give you guys this today because it's such a key. Don't live too far in the future in all the negative possibilities, but trust the Lord for everything you need today, and he will provide for you, and you will have peace and joy. Thank you for tuning in. I'm praying for your family. I pray you are blessed, and I will see you in the next one.